AstraZeneca beating second quarter revenue and profit expectations, citing robust sales of newer cancer, heart, and kidney disease medicines. I did speak with the CEO about the quarter. Any expected tariff impact on pricing, weight loss drugs as well? I also asked about the company's recently announced $50 billion investment to expand manufacturing and research here in the U.S. Listen.
The innovation in this country is tremendous. The U.S. is leading the world in biopharmaceutical innovation. And I think this is really fundamental. It's fundamental to U.S. patients. It's fundamental to the U.S. economy. Why? First of all, for patients, technologies are exploding. Science is rapidly improving. When I started in my career, we were selling pills. Today, we have so many different technologies. The day when we can cure diseases that are seen to be incurable today, that day is not far away. And it is happening because of the science that is taking place in this country. So great science, we want to partner with that great science. And the second, of course, is a big country, big population. People need our medicines so we can keep them healthy longer. The battle, I think, is still too much about keep dealing with disease and keeping people a little bit longer, but not necessarily healthy. I think the future has to be to diagnose, screen and diagnose people early and keep them healthy longer. So that's really what our industry should be focusing on.
On tariffs, I'm curious what you make of the new framework of the EU deal that has been announced and the fact that it appears that pharmaceuticals will have to have a 15% tariff when shipped into the United States. How does that affect you, and what do you think about it?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I'm sure you're going to get different responses from different companies. As it relates to our company, we took the decision several years ago to invest in different geographies to supply those geographies locally. And, that was reinforced by what happened during the COVID period. We realized that the direction we were heading into to localize manufacturing was the right one, and we accelerated it. So we now have 11 sites in the U.S. As I said, we just have announced a multi-billion-dollar new manufacturing state-of-the-art site in Virginia. So mostly we are self-sufficient to manufacture our products for American patients. There's a couple of products that are still made in Europe, and but we have the capacity to manufacture them in the U.S., and we are rapidly shifting them. As soon as we have the regulatory clearance for that, they will be made in the U.S. and will be self-sufficient. So that doesn't really affect us, those tariffs.
Do you think broadly, though, and I know you're relatively insulated, as you just laid out, but broadly, do you think it'll raise the cost of medicines in this country, in the U.S.?
Well, it might raise the cost of some medicines. It depends. Again, every company will be in a different place. If you actually happen to manufacture in the U.S. for the U.S., which we do, there's no need to increase price because of tariffs. We manufacture in China for Chinese patients, and we export a little bit from China to emerging markets. We manufacture in Europe. So in the U.S., if you manufacture locally, there's no reason for an increase in tariffs unless there is indirect pressure of those tariffs on other aspects of your manufacturing. But I don't expect, in our case, that it would create substantial price increases because we are self-sufficient here in the U.S. to manufacture our products.
There have been reports recently that you're considering relisting in the U.S. instead of in London. Is that true?
We never comment on rumors, as you would imagine. We've had so many rumors over the years. So, no, we don't comment on this rumor. I will leave it at that. I will only say that, again, we feel very American as a company. We have almost 20,000 employees in this country. We have two large we have two large R&D centers. We have 11 sites, manufacturing sites. It's a very important country. We're American.
And finally, on obesity, there's a lot of interest, obviously, in the GLP-1s. I know you're interested in this space. How do you see yourself playing and competing against some of these first movers?
We have, we've followed our mantra, if we want. And our mantra is to follow the science, of course, but also to bring our medicines to as many people as possible around the world. And in that context, we decided to go the oral route. So we have an oral GLP-1, and we have other agents that are oral agents for hypertension, for cholesterol management. And so we have an oral agent that is progressing through clinical trials. And we've gone that route because we believe an oral agent is easier to take. It will be possible to price it at a more affordable level than an injectable product. And so we are going to be able to bring it to many more patients outside the US. Because outside of the US, as you probably know, access is always an issue. Cost is an even bigger issue outside of the US than in the US. So we believe an oral agent will be more affordable, and we can bring it to so many people around the world.